YouTube, Brian Phillips here again, and we are getting so close. We're actually moving this week, and it's long overdue. We've spent a year on this project, and we've had to put so much stuff on hold in our lives, not the least of which is my YouTube channel. Even though it's still been running, it's been running at a much reduced rate, in my opinion. And it's mostly for this house on this beautiful property. I know it's windy today, and I don't have a lapel mic, so sorry about that. But this is what you get, because we're moving right now. And we just wanted to give you guys a quick once-over. We've got a little bit going on in the property today, as in moving things in. We wanted you to get a quick first look at it before we get totally moved in. As you can see, there's sod and the Cyberspace gray, which looks a lot like blue, and then the Origami white trim, the lighting. We really like the way the stone turned out. We got the stone fixed. They put the right stone on. We've got stone up here for the planter. The concrete work, if you haven't seen, this will be the runway. We have some lines to paint, taxiway, hold short lines, all that stuff. Markings on the end of the runway, numbers, all that stuff. It's going to happen, and I'll share that with you because we won't be under such duress. Because this week we close on our house on Thursday, and then an hour later we close on this house. So in the moment, we are just trying to get things moved as quick as possible and waiting on occupancy permits so we can actually live here. So we want to give you a quick look. It's as good as it's going to get. Touch-up stuff is all that's left, and then we got a massive amount of rain, which is why the sod is not done. And the sod is on our driveway, which makes it really fun to turn around objects. So anyway, we'll take you around really quick and give you a first look. Okay, so guys, we're just going to show you. You've already seen the garage. We're not going to concentrate a lot on there because that's where all our crap is right now. Downspouts, gutters got put on, which is really nice. Big beefy gutters. In our territory, you need gutters because there's a lot of water that ends up getting shed. The finish grade is finally done, but as you can see, a lot of wash right now. That is from one weekend, by the way, so we call that erosion. The good news is these knolls were here before, now they're back again, and so the sod that you see on the side of the hill is hopefully going to be spread all across this, and I'm hoping to talk the builder into sodding all the way along my runway, because I don't know how to do it, but evidently the builder that tears up your yard isn't responsible to seed, and that's not maybe unfair, except that, you know, they kind of tore it up, so I'm hoping they'll fix it. So come on over, we'll show you one little fun detail. I will take the camera crew. Okay. That is not normal. They didn't have the grading done, so the gutter guys put it in the wrong spot. So we did this little half hill because we don't want to do a retaining wall and spend like 10 grand right now. So, but that's it. And you can see in the back, this is just a continuation of the knoll. There's two knolls that wrap the property, and then the waterway here, which you can hear really good right now. And then over here is the other big knoll, which is kind of like a hill, and then they meet up here. And that's the front half, and then the back half is also ours, and it goes all the way to that tree line. So that's what we're dealing with, and I just want to give you that quick look. And we got the camera crew here.
Who's moving, thank you for
yeah,
that.
She's really happy that I put her on camera. But we're going to take you into the front so you guys can get a look at the front. Okay guys, so we've got some super amazing furniture. This used to be underneath our deck at the old house, and now it's on the front patio. It's probably not going to stay there though, so we are going to be...
It was underneath the deck at our old house when we took it out of our neighbor's garbage.
So it's high quality stuff. And this column, I would call it the right column, even though you guys are looking at it's on your left. This one, it only took 3 times to get it right. But they did get it right, guys. Don't let the builder off the hook for anything. They'll eventually fix it if you just annoy them enough. Obviously, this stuff all got matched up. The stones turned out nicely. We had like 7 corners that looked the same, and then the 8th corner looked different. And I don't know what happened, but they ended up fixing that. Good job, guys, on the stone. The colors are what we wanted. The style is what we wanted. We're really happy. And then just look at the way they graded over here. Finally, you guys are getting the first look at the way they graded. to get our runway. So imagine that, an emergency runoff right there. So maybe not so fun if you were in a real plane. Not that I would ever fly a real plane off this driveway, unless I thought I could get away with it. But the other end will be better for emergency. So, all right, come on in. Let's ring the doorbell. We did not get a fancy doorbell. Thank you very much.
Nope.
Oh, so I don't know if you guys saw it, but this is the
Tricorn black.
Tricorn black.
Yep.
And this is a Pella door. It's 8 feet tall, which is cool, except that you get these really obnoxious triple things that are annoying. They don't quite work right because every time you close the door, it's a pain. But otherwise, we love it. It looks really nice. We got these things. My wife hates them.
Yes, she does.
I think they're awesome when it's really sunny. It works great. So obviously you've seen the lights. And basically in this house, we have just only very small details that are working out still. And usually they're just kind of falling back on our shoulders because of things like peeling off the protective film on the exhaust vent, which is really fun. Except we got to detach it from the wall, which is why I have my ready ring off. We're not having problems. I just took it off so I don't scratch the stainless steel. So we're really excited. And then of course we got this dinky little mailbox. This thing is wrapped up like crazy because that's the way we do things. So we can show you a couple of things that are new that you haven't seen, one of which is right here. The audio video closet. We have our shelves, fancy. They're adjustable, they're not stained, obviously. They're gonna be stained half Kona and half...
This dark color.
Half Kona and half, what's the other one?
Espresso.
Espresso.
Same as this.
And then it's gonna be polyed. These are varnished and we are going to poly them because that's what we have.
Yep.
So, and
those
then
just got
be,
installed today.
Yep, and these are adjustable, fully adjustable shelves. And then there's room for wires, okay? And if you want, you can slip them back like this, or you can pull them out forward like that. And so for me, I'm gonna have them forward, and then all the wiring for the surround sound and things like this can go behind the shelves. And then best part yet, have a party or something like that, or you're filming a YouTube video, you can do that. And then of course, as you can see, we've been moving in, so we have stuff in some of the closets, which is strangely satisfying and yet such not a big deal, but we felt we would share it. So the kitchen, you've already seen it. We've got a garbage can. That's always exciting. The sink has been replaced. The faucet has been replaced twice. They got the wrong one. And then this is the other new thing. You guys haven't seen this at all. Ooh, fancy. This is what we've been talking about. And then also, we have another fancy thing. The basement fridge from our old house is now in here. And you're probably thinking to yourself, why didn't you get a counter depth? That is a good question. But we're a big family, we need a lot of space, and so we actually have two that would really look better if they were counter depth. And we just can't fathom spending $400 extra for less.
Yeah,
it doesn't really
can't do
work. So this here, Terry did that. Looks awesome. Looks huge. So if you want to look over there at our column, that's what we had. Our father-in-law mimic was just this little inlay detail here, which looks really nice. It's a timeless detail. This architectural stuff just gets me all excited. And as you can see,
just kind of blocks some of the stuff in the pantry, some of the mess.
When we have crap all over here, it's going to be blocked.
Yep. And then the microwave is in here too.
And then the microwave. And so we actually did this part together as part of our whatever. We didn't think we had enough on our plate project, so we went and took that on. The office you guys have already seen. Basically, nothing's changed too drastically in here except for some repairs. And if you haven't seen it before, it's nice because when you have 4 kids, they're loud, which is why we didn't do an atrium in the stairway. I don't know if we ever explained that. This was all designed to be opened here. And we said, we had one of those nights where the in-laws were over and the kids were being crazy and the door was closed in the basement. And we said, oh,
we like that.
Yeah, we need to have a wall. So the deck, you guys have seen the deck if you're following the progress. The only thing you might not have seen is because the paint got done. This you may not have seen, painted ceiling. And then as you can see, the sod looks really nice, makes it feel metropolitan.
Like
it's
a house.
Weird.
Yeah.
And then the finish grade, of course, looks really good actually, even though there's still some issues that need to be resolved, not the least of which is some trim that's been covered up on the corners. I don't think that's uncommon, especially from cheapskates that don't want to put in retaining walls. But as you can see, the sod continues. But these guys were working, and it was like Mother Nature was unleashing its full fury.
It's
it was
insane.
Crazy. And they kept working probably about twice as long as they should have. They should have stopped. But they wanted to not have the finish grade get washed away because it's mostly dust at that point. So as you can see, I don't know if you guys remember from the early videos, we have a septic tank over here. This is a 2,000 gallon tank right about meow. And then it discharges from the end of the house, and then it comes over here to a sand filter. And this is, what is it, 40 by
60?
40 by 60. I
Something
can't remember
like
what
that?
it is.
I don't
It's a
either.
lot. You can
Yeah.
kind of see the footprint is here, and then it comes over to here, and then it stops at this little corner here. Sorry, camera crew. So basically, that's not like real beautiful, but you know,
Kinda
I could say
necessary.
it, except it's a family video. Things happen, and so you need to do something with that, and that's what happens. And then the clean water goes out. So that's it for the deck. Obviously, the stairway takes you down to the basement. We'll take you down to the basement now, but right after we take you to the master. Okay, so come on through, guys. Obviously, you can see the wonderful vacuum marks. It's fantastic. It feels really good. Huge to have this place clean. It's huge.
Too bad
Really
it
huge.
won't stay that way.
It won't stay that way, but it's going to stay that
Nice
way
now.
on our own fruition. So
Yes.
we get to make the mess ourselves, and there's something about that when you have a house. Okay? Kids' rooms, they look very similar. There's nothing too fantastic, but they do look pretty nice for kids' rooms. One thing that we really like in this house, and it's something that we had to surprisingly beg for, was that we had them do the same trim details around all the windows. And evidently it's typical to just miter the corners, I don't know, at least with our builder. So we paid extra to have them do the same trim details in all the rooms and carried throughout the house, which we think was money well spent because it
Yep.
just looks so much nicer.
Yeah.
And then your window trimmings and things like this will always match, or they can. I'm so not used to having these different styles of doorknobs.
I know.
We have pulls and then we have non-pulls, and I yank these ones and I turn those ones. So, washroom, we got a washroom dryer. We got this fancy kind that you have to leave open, otherwise it smells like mold. That was an extra upgrade. And girls' room, we have 2 pseudo furniture pieces. Like I said, if the county is watching, we're not occupying, and we actually aren't, because we don't have occupancy, but we're basically just getting items pulled in so we can move, because we have a closing, and then an hour later we close on this house. So we're doing our best to facilitate everybody's basic needs for timing, not the least of which is ours, of course. So we got the bathroom. This is a full bath. The guy came out, buffed the vinyl. There's scratches in the tub. If you guys build a house, the vinyl tub, it's gonna be scratched. No matter how much you warn them, they're gonna do it. So the vinyl guy had a day here already. He's gonna have another day too. Had to fix a bunch of window things. Come on in.
I was gonna say the tub is fiberglass,
It's a fiberglass tub. And then of
Yes.
course we have
and then vinyl windows.
the matching painted white shelves,
Yep.
which look really nice. And I think we gave them, I don't know, it was a few $100
Yeah.
extra to paint white shelves. We didn't really think it was, we didn't think it was a bad deal at all, because we asked for it and we got it. And it looks beautiful. It looks really good. Plus that white paint is gonna wear nicely. So we're happy with it and we can touch it up. So it's really coming together. A lot of this project is, it's been very daunting for us because we're perfectionists and people are generally not perfectionists, and So
we have lots going on.
we have lots going on.
Kids and life.
Kids and life. And we want to be the ones to break it. So, all right, so the master bedroom, we still don't have the remote control, so we don't have any way to change the setting on the fan, but we have the can light circuit and then the light circuit, so the light is not broken, it's just not turned on. And then, of course, we've got clean windows, something you guys haven't seen. And I regret that we can't show you the outside, but let's at least show them the security lights, which is fancy. I don't even know if it's going to work very well right now with the exposure.
Probably not.
It's not quite dark enough out to make a big difference, and it's not quite dark enough in here to see. So here in about an hour, it's going to be pitch dark outside, and you turn that light switch on, you're going to see everything out there. We can fly in it for sure. So then the master bathroom, which has finally kind of come together, which feels so good, so good. We've got the dimmer, which is fancy. Come on in, guys. You can set the mood. You turn the light switch on, and then shortly thereafter, this other light comes on magically, like, turn on, except it hasn't done it. So now you guys all think I'm a nut job, which you didn't already know that. You weren't paying attention. There it goes. Okay, so we'll try it again. Okay, so you come in here, you need to go pee, you turn the switch on, and then
there it goes.
So then turn around, and then these lights, as you get a little bit brighter, of course you get your lights all at once, which is really cool. And we did that by guessing and checking with our cheap, minimum priced LED bulbs. So, and then this cabinet, we had picked a cabinet. It blocked too much of the view of the windows. We did these transom windows, always been part of the plan. This was always going to be a closet until about, I don't know, like the 7th revision of our architectural drawings. And then we decided, oh man, that's going to be big. So we ended up getting a cabinet instead. Then the cabinet got installed and we were like, oh man, that's still big. So we talked to the builder and they ended up cutting it in half for us, putting in another piece. Of course, we had to pay for some of this stuff. It wasn't his fault that we changed our mind. But this quartz to match looks really nice. And of course, we have tons of storage up here, and we still have enough room to leave a shaver out or something like this. So we're really excited. Obviously, the master bathroom, we wanted to have 2 showers because by the time we laid this thing out, we toyed with the idea of a tub, and the tub just never really fit the bill for us. We don't need a tub. We have a tub for the kids if they need to do a bath instead of a shower, but we didn't really anticipate using it. So later on, we ever need to change it, we've got all the plumbing in place, we can do that. So the master bathroom, you've seen it, except for the toilet, of course. And then the master closet, which incidentally, it's basically, I would say it's a 99% done because there's some paint touch-ups that still, for whatever reason, escapes them. They use the trim to paint this thing, which is correct, it's white. But then they used the white trim to touch up around it on the ceiling, which I don't think shows up on camera, but it's just one of these things. It's like, you paint for a living, you would think you'd be able to tell the difference.
It's a different finish.
It's a
glossy,
finish.
so you can see
Gloss versus satin.
Yeah.
So, and then of course the toilet room. So nothing too fancy in here, but if you want to come in here and take care of business, you got your privacy, which is nice.
And a little extra storage with the cabinet
And
above.
storage that my wife, oh buddy, there's toilet paper up there.
A whole half of a roll.
That's right. So basically, that was one thing that my wife said she didn't want. And I was like, seriously, you're not going to put storage up in there?
Oh, I was going to make me pretty storage.
She was going to make me do a shelf. And I said, then we get to dust it, it's going to be a pain. Oh, and then one other detail we've got, of course, mirrors. The mirrors, because the transom windows, we had to tip the bottoms out a little bit so that you could see the top of your head. And they turned out nicely.
So that you could see the top of your head.
My camera crew doesn't have a problem with that because she's shorter than I am. So, but now you've seen it. We'll show you the basement quick and then we'll wrap it up. Okay, so we neglected the mudroom, not sure why, but basically the mudroom, we didn't come in from the garage, we came in from the front door. So the mudroom has a couple of features, one of which is basically these doors, these pocket doors. If you get to where you're having a party or something like that, we wanted a way to close off the kitchen. You have the same thing over here. Our builder hates pocket doors, and I understand why, because they're kind of a pain in the butt to get right. And if you want them to look right, it takes some effort. So transoms above, the transom windows are cool because we always carry the light in, and we like that even if you close this off, it feels spacious and open. And then they did a really nice job on these cubbies. These cubbies, of course, are going to be for the kids, put their stuff in here, and then, of course, for us to put our stuff in here. And then a shoe area, because shoes get incredibly annoying when you have so many kids and people. And then, of course, this was my idea to put this up high so you can put your more, you know, less frequent used things like your
seasonal snow pants,
things like this, coveralls, this sort of thing. So then the bathroom, this is a good guest bath here, and nothing too incredibly fancy here, but the view is really good. When the sun sets, you get a beautiful view of the sunset. So we just love the way it looks. Did the quartz in there too. The garage is a humongo mess, so I think we'll just leave that for another time. You've already seen it. There's nothing fancy going on, but we will pick it back up downstairs. Okay guys, so come on down the stairs. So the windows are clean, which is super nice. You could see out great, except you can't see out great because it's dark. That's my fault. As you approach the basement, got a bug there. We've got light switches for all 3 circuits, stairway lights, the main light, and then of course this for the main living space downstairs. And we can close off the noise, which is really nice. It's going to be good. Like I said, just touch-ups and things like this is basically what's left. Overspray, and you never know how this stuff gets on here, but somebody at some point's got to clean it. So then we got the lights in the main living space. This is going to be a future living room. And then on the other side, we're going to have a couple bedrooms, more than likely. And then, of course, on this side, that's where we're going to have the shop, which is why we have a big wide door, 36-inch door. We have lights down here. Come on through, camera crew. And we really fought hard to get the utilities tight. You guys already know about this. They turned out really nice because we have one bulkhead, one HVAC bulkhead. And then in the shop area, of course, we're going to have some load-bearing beams here, and then on the other side over here. But beyond these lam beams, it's all closed in. We got the insulation up. I don't know if I'm a big fan of this stuff yet, but it's going to make it slightly easier if we do finish. I mean, if. So, anyway, this is the utilities. Got the furnace, water heater, nothing fancy, some garbage here. When I say garbage, I mean things from construction that we need to keep. But this got cleaned up nicely. It turned out, I think, really nice. Got pressure vessel. We're gonna put in a hot water recirculator, so that's already pre-plumbed. Of course, the plumber wanted like, I don't know, $600-700 or something for the pump. Pump you get for like $180. So I said, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'll just have you pre-plumb it. So we gave him a few $100 for that. Radon mitigation, passive radon mitigation system through the sump pump. Got the breaker panel. There'll be probably another breaker panel, since we've only got 1, 2, 3, 4 stalls left. So we'll backfeed a secondary panel. If not, we'll actually run another line over to the transfer switch, I believe is what they, no, it's not a transfer switch. Basically, it's a 600 amp panel or 400 amp panel. That's what it is, 400 amp panel. We didn't want to just do 200 amp service, we did 400 amp service from the pole. So without further ado, guys, that's it. I mean, pretty much the house is done. Now it's just a matter of, you know, touch-ups, kind of finishing up the sod. We'll do a little bit of probably some seeding and things like this. Maybe the sod guys will be nice and they'll just run sod up and down. Some work on the approach, which is just real minor stuff. So as far as update videos, if something major happens, we'll let you guys know. But for now, this is pretty much it. So if you want to see any part of this process, then what you can do is just at the end of the video, it's probably popping up now, you can click the link and it will take you to the basically the playlist for this. And I do playlists for all the different projects I do. Sometimes you'll notice there's only one video. It's probably because it's a very current one. But some of my videos, I've got 50, 60 videos pertaining to one project. So if it meets your fancy, you might want to watch all 60 videos. But you may also, you know, have other better things to do with your life. But for now, one way or another, we really appreciate you guys being part of this build process. Moving the planes, I told somebody I would film that And I just don't really know if I'm going to be able to follow through with that, and I apologize if I don't. I'll try to give you guys a quick little update video because it's just been incredibly insane. In fact, my wife is probably saying, hurry up, we need to get moving, because we have like 4 days left and we're averaging about 1 load a day. And by that calculation, we will move in next spring. So anyway, we're gonna end it on that high note. Thanks for watching. Come back for more. There is so much cool stuff, so much coming. Be part of it. YouTube, I didn't want to let you guys go without showing you the finished product. This was a huge pain in the butt to peel that protective covering off, but we are really glad we did, and we are glad to share it with you, the final last look. And soon, I will probably put out an update video for the closets too when they're done. But as you can see, the kitchen is done. It looks really nice. We're happy with it. This is a huge unboxing area, also known as a kitchen. It's also, you know, aircraft carrier landing zone. But we really appreciate you guys being part of this. Sorry for the false ending there. We were just trying to trick you guys, keep you on your toes. Come back for more.